In this short lesson, I thought I'd explain travel runs and why they occur, how you can avoid having them if you've got a open area, a much looser density. So let's change our density. As you can see, I've just drawn a square for you to see, and I've made it quite open. And I'll zoom in a wee bit for you to see, and I've made it into a light green colour. And I started in this corner and I finished in this corner. That's the first stitch, that's the last stitch. Click on it, go to reshaped object. You can see the entry point, the exit point, and the angle. Now I'm going to hit my home key on my keyboard. On your keyboard you'll have a home key, and if I deselect you'll see now that it's turned black. Okay, stitches were green but it's now black. Also on your keyboard are some arrow keys. There's 4 of them, 1 up, 1 down, 1 left, 1 right. I'm going to use the down key, and that travels at 10 stitches at a time. And you can see that it starts in that left hand corner and travels all the way through to the bottom right hand corner. But what happens if I should change the entry point? Hit enter, and now you can see there's one of those travel runs. So let's go back. Let's see what happens. Move it, enter it, travel run, and I'll click off, hit my home key and travel, and I'm going to do the right hand key this time, the one that's facing, pointing to the right. That's 1 stitch at a time, and you'll see that it travels up from where my entry point was so that it can get to the top left. And why does it need to do that? Well, because it's better to have a travel run sometimes than a join halfway across the stitching. So I'm going to travel now through 10 stitches at a time, and you'll see that it's gone from one side to the other, nice and clean. But of course with an open density, this travel run will show. Let's go back and have it there, and I'm going to drop out now, and I'm going to now entry, exit. I'm now going to draw another square. If I draw the square from here to here, it hasn't affected that block of stitches, because I started where I left off. But this one, if we change the density to show up better, put another one, that'll do. It has, because it's now started in this corner, because that's where we started, and it's got to get to there, and the angle's still the same, but it wants to end there, because that's where, when I created the square, I drew it from there to there. So if I move that down, I've got rid of 1 travel run, and if I change the angle, I've got rid of the other one. So you see, by changing entry exits and by changing angles, you control the travel run. Let's undo that, and let's undo that square. But supposing I needed my next object to be up here. Well, if I draw it that way, I'm going to have a travel run here. And that's because the exit has moved because I've got nearest join on. This has also got a travel run because it wants to get to there because of the angle. Remember about the angle? It wants to start there and it wants to finish there. So again, if I move that down, I get rid of one. And if I move the angle, I can get rid of the other one. So you see, it can be controlled by different ways. And again, here, it's changed. People often have problems with this. Why do my entry point keeps changing? Well, it's because where you start and end, and sometimes that's unavoidable. So it's travelling there. So again, if I had the angle more like that, I haven't got a running stitch underneath. But there is another way as well. You'll be pleased to hear. Let's make our travel run. There's our travel run, because of the angle, or I can just change the angle to make a different travel run. Got a travel run there. So what can we do? Well, we can right click to bring up the object properties box, and we can go to effects, and we can say travel on edge and apply. And there you see no travel run. Now what's happened is it's had to put a running stitch around the edge. Let me hit the home key to prove it to you. It starts to sew until it gets to here, and then look, it's travelling on the edge, and then it can go back on to finish off. And although on normal density you will probably see a ridge if it meets up somewhere on the interior, because it's an open one you probably won't even notice it, although if it was a normal density you would, because it does give a slight overlap so that there's no gaping and leaving holes. So that's how you can also control your travel runs while your entry and exit points move. And with entry and exit points, as you get more used to digitizing and working in an order, if you work with the software, knowing what's going to happen, you'll probably avoid the problem of entry and exit points moving, because you know what's going to happen. But that will come with experience, and the only thing I can say is play with your software, try things out. As you can see, nothing happened, it didn't blow up when I was playing around with it, and that's the way you'll learn what your software's doing. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I hope it's explained some of the things about entry exit points, angles, travel runs, and how to work around them. Thank you for watching.